What is up, everybody? So I've got a tournament report for you for Grand Prix Dallas. Yeah, I was gonna do a Monday release for you, playing some Commander, but I was at the convention hall at Grand Prix Dallas like all day Saturday. I was almost there for like 10 hours. So I was gonna try and record a little bit on Sunday, but I was just a little tired, and plus I did some family stuff. So just kind of just a little magic tired from the weekend. So I'm gonna pick up on my normal Commander videos on Tuesday, but I did want to give you a tournament report on what happened. So. The deck I played at Grand Prix Dallas, it's a deck that I've been working on for a long time now. It's Mindcrank, and I love playing Mindcrank in Modern. It's one of my favorite decks to play, and I've never recorded a video for it for my channel just because I'm not sometimes like I'm always looking for a different version of it to build. Not a different version, but like I'm always looking for the optimal version of it. Like I change things up. Like I've gone through Sultai Mindcrank, Grixis Mindcrank, Straight Black Blue Mindcrank. Like I've done so many different variations of the deck, but at this recent Grand Prix, I added the Thopter combo to it, and it was pretty solid. And I kind of like where it's going. So I'll be doing a deck tech and some gameplay videos on it pretty soon. But I felt pretty good about it, and yeah, this Grand Prix Dallas is probably one of my favorite Magic tournaments I've ever been to. I had fun all day. I ended up 4-3. I dropped after the seventh round just because I wouldn't have made. There's like 2,000 people, so I wouldn't have made top 8 with X and 3. And plus, we had some family friends in from town that we were going to meet up with that night. So after the seventh round, I had some fun playing Magic. So I went ahead and dropped. So I could have maybe made a push for day 2, but I'm not chasing any pro points or anything, and like I said, I had fun playing Magic, so I just kind of dropped after round 3, but not round 3. I dropped after round 7 after I got that. But yeah, ended up 4-3. So round 1, I actually got paired against Mill. And well, actually, let me start with my deck. So if you're not familiar with Mindcrank combo, it revolves around Mindcrank and Dustmantle Guildmage. And what happens is once you get a card in the graveyard and you get those triggers going, they're going to mill their entire library, and they're going to lose life. And it's going to just the triggers are going to bounce back and forth until either A, they run out of life, or B, they run out of cards. And then with the Thopter combo, you get Thopter Foundry down, get Sword of the Meek down, and then for every mana you have, you can sacrifice Sword of the Meek to make a Thopter token, gain a life, and then Sword of the Meek comes back. So basically, if you've got both of those pieces on the battlefield, you have 5 mana. You can make 5 Thopters, gain 5 life, and then just keep making creatures every single turn. So it's pretty good for the deck because the whole deck revolves around Muddle the Mixture. So, if you've got Thopter Foundry in your hand, a Muddle, and some other support pieces, you can use the Transmute ability on Muddle the Mixture to find your missing piece. Or if you've got a nice Mindcrank hand you can go with, it really kind of opens up the deck into having 2 game plans where in the past I had just gone straight Mindcrank, so it was just really if they hadn't answered to Mindcrank, it was kind of hard to get something going. But like I said, I'll do a deck tech on it. So those are the combos if you don't realize it. So round 1, I get paired against Mill. So I always like playing against Mill because Mindcrank's Mill deck. So it's because you'll get some hate from people if you're playing Mill, especially Infinite Mill like I'm playing. So to play against another Mill player, it was pretty good because we both know that our stuff doesn't smell good. Um, so the gloves are off definitely for sure. So game 1, when you're playing against Mill, you always want to be like I guess not reactive, but you want to be really careful with your fetch lands, just because they run Archive Trap in there. Archive Trap in there. So if you can help it, don't crack any fetches against Mill. And that was the game plan. I ripped a bunch of Watery Graves and stuff like that. And then he finally got me. I fired off a Transmute on Muddle the Mixture, and he finally popped me for like. I think it was 2 or 3. I think it was 2 archives, and then he hit me with some like 2 Glimpsy Unthinkings before that. So I got milled out in game 1. He didn't really see what I was on though. I think I had Aether Vial up and running, but he never saw what I was on. So went on to game 2, and he milled me pretty hard. I think he had like a Mind Funeral, and he ended up having to hard cast a Archive Trap, and I dispelled it, and that was enough to kind of save me to allow to combo off with Mindcrank. Then on game 3, I had to mulligan down to 4, and he had Mesmeric Orb out there, which was just eating away at me every single turn, so it was kind of stopping me from doing stuff. But then he like launched one final what is it Mind Funeral, where you reveal the 4 lands, and I needed one more land to combo off because I had Aether Vial ticked to 2, I had Mindcrank on the battlefield. I just needed one more mana to go off, and he had a Mind Funeral, and I had like 2 cards in library, and then the Mesmeric Orb knocked me out with I didn't have a draw step, so I lost round 1. So I was a little bummed that I lost round 1, especially when like I was pretty close to taking that last game. I was 1 draw step away, but hey, that's Magic, man. Went on to round 2. I played against Red White Aggro. It was a weird build. There was Boros Reckoner, there was the Zergo Bell Striker, and then it had like lightning helix and reverberate on the light. I mean, it was just a janky red white aggro deck. But so game one, I took Mindcrank pretty quick, and then he never saw the Thopter combo. And then game two, I got Thopt. I got down to like 9 life, and I got the Thopter combo up and running, and I was just gaining life every single turn and close it out after that. So that's a quick little 2-0 right there in round two. On to round three, I got paired against Jund, and Jund's really hard match for this deck just because all of your artifacts are converted, or they're just targets for abrupt decay. So, game one, I actually got in a really quick. I think he only had one hand disruption. I got down a quick Aether Vial and Mind Crank, and I got a Mind Crank combo off in game one, which is if you can take game one against John, that's always good with Mind Crank. And then on game two, he never saw the Thopter combo. I tried to set up the Mind Crank combo in game two, and he abrupt decayed and used all of his removal and pieces to get rid of it. And then I just drew into the Thopter combo and took away. I think he had his Liliana ticked up to 6, and he was going to ultimate it next turn, and then I drew in, or how did it work? Basically I got into the combo just in time to like start ticking away at Liliana when she was about to ultimate, and then it just closed it out from there because it was like turn 8 or turn 9, and when you're making 8 or 9 Thopters a turn, that just takes over the game right there. So won that in two, so I'm feeling pretty good after that loss, 2-0 or 2-1. Two straight wins. On to round four, I got paired against a green red Tron, and Tron's a with the Mindcrank deck, when your harder matchups are the linear, quick aggro decks. Infect's not so bad. You can get around Infect, but when you're playing against Suicide Zoo, Burn, stuff like that, it's one of your harder matchups for the Mindcrank deck. So getting paired against Green Red Tron, it's pretty good because they take a little bit of time setting up. So game one, let me see. Game one I was on. Oh yeah, with Mindcrank you have a God Hand. Your God Hand is Aether Vial, Dust Mantle, and Mindcrank and like 2 or 3 pieces of land. So I was on the play. I had Aether Vial, Mindcrank, and Dust Mantle. So I go turn 1, Aether Vial. I go turn 2, Mindcrank, Aether Vial ticks up to 1. I play my third land. I've got 3 lands up, and then active Aether Vial for 2. And I think my opponent, he went to cast Sylvan Scrying. And so in response to that, I Violent Dust Mantle activated his ability, and once that Sylvan Scrying hit the graveyard, I got that quick mill action right there before he was able to get Tron up and running on game 1. Then in game two, I got lucky because I run 3 Ghost Quarters in the Mindcrank deck to get the combo up and rolling, and so I stalled him out with a really early Ghost Quarter, and then just kind of I had when you're playing against Tron or something like that, where it's not an early aggro deck, you usually side out the Thopter combo. So that's what I did in game two, and then I happened to just like I went down to 1 Thopter and 1 Sword of the Meek, and so I also have Welding Jar in the sideboard to regenerate the artifacts. So I got Thopter Foundry down, and I had a Welding Jar, which it's kind of one of those things where you back off the Thopter combo because I'm running 4 Thopters and 3 Swords of the Meek. So when you go to like take the combo out, you can still leave 1 or 2. You can leave like 1 of each piece in there. That way, if you draw into it, you're good to go. So I got down. I don't even have Sword of the Meek in my hand, so I get down Thopter Foundry and I get down a Welding Jar, and he goes for a Nature's Claim on the Thopter Foundry. I sacrifice the Welding Jar, regenerate it, and then he wastes his second Nature's Claim on that Thopter Foundry and kills it right there, which I didn't even have Sword of the Meek. So then after that, I get down Mind Crank, and I hit a Dust Mantle pretty soon after that. So game one and game two, I both comboed off with a Mind Crank combo against Green Red Tron. But yeah, an early Ghost Quarter kind of blew up one of his Tron pieces, and that really helped me kind of stall it out. So I'm really happy. I went from 0-1 to 3 wins in a row, so I'm like, hey, man, nobody can stop me now. I get to round 4, and I get to Naya Burn, and just, man, I like Mulligan to 4 game 1, and he got Goblin. You know, when you get like double Goblin Guide out and Monastery Swift Spear, there's not much you can do about it. Then on to game 2, I kind of backed off the Mind Crank combo because it's a little bit hard to set up against quick burn like that, and just went mainly removal, and I'm running like 6 pieces of removal in the sideboard because it's just straight black-blue deck. And so I just back off the Mindcrank combo and really focus on setting up the Thopter combo and taking care of his early threats, and it was just I couldn't get it up and running. And but he was a real cool dude, so it was really fun to play against him. Round 6, I got paired against Zoo, and it wasn't like Naya Zoo. I mean, it was he had Knight of the Reliquary, I guess like mid-range Zoo, I guess, or Big Zoo, however you want to call it, but yeah, he had Tarmogoyf, Knight of the Reliquary, and once again, early aggro. I mulliganed, I think, down to 5 on this one, and I didn't show any of the combo pieces just because it was like turn 3, he got an early Tarmogoyf and another type creature. I was basically going to be dead in the next 2 combat steps, and there was nothing I could have done to get the combo up and rolling. So I actually kind of scooped preemptively just so he didn't see what I was running, which actually kind of helped because we go to game two and I get the Thopter combo up and running, and I think I got down to I got down about 8, and once I got the Thopter combo up and running, I stabilized and just had blockers for days and gained life and took over. And then in game three, I do have Echoing Truth in the sideboard, which I did bring in because Stony Silence. He gets an early Stony Silence, and I hit like Sword of the Meek and couldn't hit me any of the other combo pieces, and then he yeah, just aggroed me out, got me right there. Then in round 7, this is the end of the day. I'm X and 3, and I was gonna play one more round, and I knew like I could have pushed for day 2, but I was just man, I was tired. I'd been at the convention center since like 8 o'clock that morning, and it was like almost 7 o'clock, and so I was yeah, I was just a little magic tired. Knew I wasn't gonna, if I made day 3, I wasn't gonna make top. I mean, not day 3. If I made day 2, I was gonna make top 8. So I just kind of, I was like, this will be my last round. I've comboed off with Mind Crank and stabilized with Thopter Foundry, so I've had a nice day of Magic. So round 7, I get paired against Jun, so I'm just like, oh no, I want to end on a high note. But game 1, I got a really quick Mind Crank combo, and my opponent unfortunately had to mulligan down. He couldn't get into a black sword, so that definitely helped me out. But that's Magic. That happens sometimes. So I got the Mind Crank combo pretty quick on game 1. And then we go to game 2. I never had to show the Thopter Foundry combo against him. He just saw Mind Crank. And so I brought in my welding jars to kind of help protect against it. And he did have an abrupt decay on the Thopter Foundry, but I got Thopter Foundry up and running and then took over the game. So won that 1 and 2, which, excuse me, put me at 4 and 3 for the day, and then went ahead and dropped after that. I could have played 2 more rounds, but like I said, I probably had one more loss on me. If I was going to make day 2, I knew I had another loss in there somewhere. And at the end of the day, I just had a nice day of Magic, and I really enjoyed it. So, because usually I take this Mindcrank deck, I haven't run it with the Thopter combo, and it's really good with the Thopter combo. And I would just bring Mindcrank to these Star City Game and Grand Prix events, and I'd go like 2 and 2 or 2 and 3 or something, get really frustrated. So, going 4 and 3 and playing some good, like productive Magic all day was really fun, and counts as a win in my book. So. But yeah, I'll be having some gameplay videos of it coming up soon. I'm shooting for this Friday. Mindcrank to me, this is a deck that I've been working on for like 2 years now. It's just my favorite modern deck to play. So I always want to make sure I'm putting out the best version of it, or I'm always exploring different ways to kind of make the combo work or make it better. So it's definitely a solid tier 2 deck, and nobody really plays it. But yeah, I'll be getting a list out for you and let you see it because yeah, a little bit of a Mindcrank expert. I've been jamming it for about 2 years now. I can't. I wish I had stats on how many libraries I've milled comboing off like that. It's a lot of fun. But yes, I will pick up back with my videos on Tuesday. It was just yeah, I was at the convention center all day Saturday and Sunday. I was just tired, just Magic tired, and I don't want to ever just kind of give half effort in my videos just to put them out right there. So I'll pick back up on Tuesday, and then I'm gonna be getting more modern content into my channel. I don't know if I'm gonna do the Friday like 5 video releases. So like, I'm just kicking decks around all the time. So what I may do is just one day just kind of just show up and have like I'm working on this Red Tron deck. I've got a Grixis deck that I've been kicking around. Sultai emerged. So I think I'm just gonna record a couple videos and just post it up one day and just probably some tournament practice play and just get y'all's take on it and see what you think. But yeah, more modern coming. I'll be picking up with Commander videos on Tuesday. All right, guys, you enjoyed the video? Like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.